He's in Easton, Pennsylvania, the home of Sammy Sasso, Larry Holmes, and White Collar Willie Saylor. Willie, how are you?
I'm great. Kind of upset that you wore that shirt before me, but we'll get to that later.
Thank a farmer. Yes. Make sure you thank a farmer today if you like food, if you eat it. To my left, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr., the pride of Calvert Hall, Baltimore County, Maryland, and his parents, I'm sure.
Probably.
Your dad came to Who's Number One. That was nice.
My dad and my brother came to Who's Number One, which is a tradition unlike any other. You screwed it up by telling me.
Screwed what up?
You're an idiot. You're a goof.
You told me. This is on you. This is
no
on your
one knows
conscience.
what you're talking about, including me.
We'll get to it. Introduce Kyle Brackey.
All right, straight away, Stephen Kyle Brackey with the Eagle Freedom and the Bronco of – hey, the Bronco's got to win.
Yeah, and
the Bronco of Victory, we'll call it.
I talked to Casey.
Classic name drop.
Was it Wednesday? And he
you guys talk on the phone?
No, we were talking on Twitter. But he heard our conversation about what you get when you win the Clarion Open and the Edinburgh Open, and he wants Nomad and I to coach him in those Opens so he can win those things.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
I don't know if he can do the Clarion one because it's in November and football is still very much going on then, but the Edinburgh one's usually in February.
The rare February Open, we can get him ready. Can he enter the freshman-sophomore division? Is that one of those? That would help.
We'll get him in.
We'll get him in. We'll have we can rig the brackets too maybe for.
I don't know. Casey Kreider's an NFL athlete. I'm pretty sure he's in good shape just at all times of the year.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to stack the deck so he can win. The easier the wrestlers are to beat, the more likely he is to win.
That's fair.
Okay. Now, as mentioned and noticed, probably if you listened to the last show, I wasn't here, so I didn't get to get any of my Who's Number One takes off. Okay, and I don't have that many, but I have one, and I was listening to the show, driving to the airport, and I was yelling at Willie, which is probably common for many of you. You're probably at all times yelling at one of us, as we do FRL. And I was yelling at Willie on the show in my car in front of my family. So you'll know. So great. Who's Number One was awesome. When the crowd was great, the kids wrestled awesome, put on a great show. Was really pumped that it was at Iowa. There were a couple times I was like, I'm so glad we're here. I'm so glad we're doing it. At this, the crowd was out of control good. So who knows where we'll go? Who knows where it'll be in the future? But I was super glad that it was at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of scary when you move an event, right? I mean, me and Christian were talking about it in the off season. You know, I mean, in the summer, like where should we take it? Pros and cons, and so. It's a great moment when the event goes off and you're like, phew, it was fine. It was great, you know?
Okay. Now, first match, so good. First of all, we got to talk. Ryan Jack's really, really good. Really like him a lot. Shane Van Ness blew me away. But the very first match, Jesse Mendez, Ryan Jack, the end of the match. Okay, and I tweeted a little bit about the scenario, right? The 2 for this guy, 2 for that guy, 2 and 2. What's it going to be, right? Jesse Mendez, I keep accidentally almost calling him Joey Melendez because we're talking about UNC's lineup today, but I'm not going to do it. His name's Jesse Mendez. Takes a shot. Jack exposes him, and they ultimately call for Mendez. Now, I'm fine with it, right? I'm fine with it. It's fine.
I think I know where you're going, and I'm really excited.
Okay. And I heard my friend, my colleague, Willie Saylor, say, you know what, no problem with it. Reward the aggressor.
Yes, sir.
Today we want to reward the aggressor. But around a month ago in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Willie was team do not reward the aggressor. Mm-hmm. He was adamant that it was to Zane. Adamant that it's a crotch lift, guys. It's a crotch lift, guys. It's clear, too. So and here's my thing.
It's not even close. It's not even close to the same scenario.
Well, it's a guy on a shot, shot exposing a guy. the guy who's defending a shot, crotch lifting the guy for 2,
Listen,
and exposing him.
Yanni was in on a shot. Zayn had 10. It was a definite break between shot and counter. This was like one move. I mean,
okay. I don't agree with that. But I guess the broader point is this is a freestyle scenario that happens constantly. It doesn't just happen in the Yanni Zayn 2 or Yanni Zayn at the final one at Wilkes-Barre or Mendez versus Jack. It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
Will.
And I watched they made the call on the mat, and then Zach Arrett and Sammy Julian, who are probably the most qualified officials in America, maybe the world. They watched this thing for 5 minutes. They have to change the rule. They have to write something down in black and white, whether it says the guy out who takes a shot, whether it says the guy who defends, or if you're exposing, it's 2, right? If a shot and it's countered, that's 2 and 2. They have to get uniform. Otherwise, it's just like dealer's choice. How does this ref feel? How does that ref feel? And I think I was fine with the call. I was fine with the Mendez if that's how they want to call it. Okay, sure. But the logic applied from Willie and maybe the logic applied by refs elsewhere is like, how are you spiritually feeling about who we should be rewarding at this time? Because spiritually, it seems like it makes sense to reward this guy at this point in time. But it was a very clear crotch lift and roll through by Ryan Jack that he got no points for. So I don't agree with that.
We said when Yanni and Zayn wrestled the first time that these situations are going to keep coming up between these two, and they did. And we can say that this scoring situation is going to rear its head all the time, because it is. One guy's going to take a shot and the other one's going to do something, and then it's going to look like 2 and 2, or like there's opportunity for somebody to say there could be 2 and 2 for each guy. It's never going to go away.
Yeah, so they've got to. There needs to be, and I'm curious for Nomad's take on this because he watches more freestyle than everyone. I don't know the Pandora's box I could be opening by saying they need to put something in black and white, and I don't care what it is, but everyone should just know what's going to happen when you do the thing. When you take a shot and expose a guy and then you get exposed, you should know what's going to happen.
I don't like black and white in freestyle. I don't like situations where a guy, and this is kind of what I said for Yanni Zayn, where a guy is flat like this and another guy is kind of exposed like this, and there's no situation where this guy doesn't give up points. So if you're going to make it black and white, I think it has to be the guy that is flat on his back is giving up points.
Okay, who is flat on their back in this?
Ryan Jack in this case.
Yeah.
Zayn in the other case.
Yes. Okay.
However,
but degrees of exposure is never discussed, right? Because you're saying like, well, it's 89 degrees.
I'm saying just think about the optics, right? If you're saying like, it's just common sense, right? Like if everybody in a bar thinks it's a catch, right? If a guy's flat on his back and you have a group of people watching, it's bad optics to go, well, that guy couldn't have possibly given up points. That's a little confusing, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I think that might make it more confusing. I don't know.
And then to your point about if both expose, right? So if both break 90, then it's just always 2 and 2.
I don't know, man.
Why is that not 2 and 2?
On
Listen,
what situation?
I think does Ryan Jack.
No, I'm talking about.
But I just want to say, Jesse Mendez does not want to expose there, does he? Does he want to roll to his back there?
No,
absolutely not. So there's got to be some punishment for that. If you're on a shot and you expose,
I know it. What I'm saying though is language, and this might be. Listen, I'm shooting from the hip here because I didn't really even know this topic was coming. But
oh yeah, so I like it.
No, I mean, what is the language in the rule book? If you say, I mean, if you can obviously sometimes expose when you do a leg lace or a gut wrench, you know what I mean? It's just a language. How do you put that in?
I don't know. If it's a neutral attack, it would seem like, in most cases, a neutral attack you should be You shouldn't really be exposing.
The problem, though, is if they do that, what if it's transliterated?
Yeah, how would it be transliterated there, Nomad?
Any number of ways.
In any number of ways. So we could have any number of transliterations, and then you can see we're really in a pickle. So that's the only thing I wanted to say about that match. I don't like that there's no way to know how it's going to be called. If it was clear cut, they wouldn't have looked at it that long. But the problem is it's not clear cut, and there's really no way to know, and they just had to do their best guess. And I think if you make a call on the mat, I don't know how you could go against it. And the call was for Mendez, so that's fine.
The beautiful thing about it, I mean, not the beautiful thing about it, but
gorgeous thing.
The thing that you were relieved about, and I was talking to Sammy on the phone last night, and I said, I was in a tunnel and I just heard the roar, and I ran out and I saw what was going on. It was in review, and I'm like, here we go.
Did you actually run?
Yes, I ran. I got some speed. But I saw the situation, and it's not surprising. It's always going to happen. And I'm like, here we go. First match of the night, controversy. But what I liked that Sammy did and Zach did was they played it. They played it on the Jumbotron, and they played it about 30 times. So at least the fans and the crowd and the people online knew they did their due diligence. They looked at it 100 times, and they were like, yeah, that's really difficult to score. So I don't think anybody walked away from it feeling like it was like they didn't do their job, like it was a bad call. It was probably the right call. It was the right call, but people either way are going to get upset sometimes.
All right, Steve and Kyle, thoughts?
I thought of the same thing, CP, when Willie said that. There wasn't a good time for me to interject and didn't feel like arguing about it again because it felt like we really beat that horse. But I thought it should have been 2-2. I didn't. It wasn't like.
What's happening with bracket? Are we really covering up the wave now? The completely jet black background for Bracky. We usually have the illuminated wave.
Oh yeah.
Are we that ashamed of our history?
I guess so.
You're not.
That we're covering. Yeah, we're already doing it right here with the TV. They cover up the thing.
I didn't even realize. Yeah,
it kind of looks like inside the actor's studio with Bracky there. I don't know.
It's messed
between
up.
two ferns.
Yeah,
ferns.
Yeah, between one eagle. Okay. So that. All right. So who are the big one? Voinovich, on top, double legs, power half. I thought that was like one of the most. For me, that was like one of the most surprising, one of the biggest moments of the whole night was him being down 4-1 and just like. To me, I look at that. I'm like, man, did they not watch a shred of film on this guy coming in? Because how do you go under that situation? That I can't imagine that's not a new thing for Voinovich to be a double leg rider and power halfing dudes and wrecking shoulders. So why do you? We talk about it all the time, the choice thing, auto bottom. Willie probably hates it the most. I mean, get your point. Okay, get the point, but you got pinned in a power half, so you got no points, and the match is over. And you're up 4-1. You're up 4-1. You were in two positions. You knew you were probably superior, or at least had opportunities to score. And you say, "I'm gonna go into where it's at least at this point unproven how I will do, an area where I know Voinovich is good. Let's go under there." That to me is like either no homework was done or just like foolhardy, like just recklessness. I don't know why you would go under Voinovich in that situation.
I've ranted on it a million times. Why go down, especially when you get the first two takedowns, the only two takedowns.
Or he had a takedown in a turn, I thought.
No, it was two takedowns.
Oh, okay.
Two takedowns. So you get two takedowns, and then you're gonna go down where you probably should know that Voinovich is tough, or you should. If you didn't know that he was tough on top, then you didn't know. Right? You either know a guy's tough on top, or you don't know anything about how good he is on top. Don't go where you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
it may have cost the guy the number one spot. I mean, now there's nothing to say that Voinovich doesn't take top in the third and do that exact thing. But
Sure.
just the optics of going under that situation and then that happening is just like, whoa. I mean, he would.
Yeah,
The fact is, he gets the turn, right? Takes him over, and then completely recovers. Completely gets back to his belly. Goes to the exact same thing again. So like, it wasn't like, whoa, I didn't even know he had this. It's like he did it. Okay, clear it. Get to your bait, and then straight back to it again. That was a kind of a mind-blowing moment for me. And hats off to Voinovich. Love the double leg ride, power half. Want to see more of it. Reminds me of Lance Palmer and other studs like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they would regret the choice of going down. And to me, it's not just one match. It's the concept and the repeated use of it. It's you go into a position that you're either inferior or you don't know for the sake of perhaps scoring 1 point.
Yeah, don't get it. To me, I think the biggest stock up guy in all this is Shane Van Ness. Watching him, I thought he's not just pace. I thought his technique and his variety of offense was really impressive. He doesn't have to. I mean, it is anytime guys like dig themselves in big holes, you don't necessarily like it. But I just think that's a credit to Serrano and Mendez, who are just awesome wrestlers, right? They're really good. That group of 4 was super talented group, and it seems like every year around that weight range, Willie, you like, I think I should do a group of 4 here, and you've done it many times, and it's always good. I think it was 38 last year, was it, with Tag and O'Toole?
There have been 4 4-man groups. 3 were 132, and 1 was 138.
And 38 was last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that weight range and that collection of talent just seems to yield awesome guys. The best one ever was Pletcher, Red, Yanni, and Lamont in 132 and 20. I think that was 15 or 16. So that was a great one. But yeah, love that group of 4. Patrick Kennedy, Carver absolutely exploded in that moment. Him winning. I think Facundo's really, really awesome and going to have a great career. I just think Kennedy, and the reason I thought he would win was I thought he just had a little more physical strength in him, a better positioning, and I thought Facundo would have a hard time getting to him. And I think we saw that. We saw some amazing defense from Facundo, actually. But Kennedy, through kind of really strong or a high volume of attempts and good finishing, was able to get it done. So I thought that was a really good way for the show to end, sort of end. And we had the last one. Another thing I really liked is that, I didn't think people would leave, but it was that crowd was there for Hawkeyes, right? And they were most excited about that. That match ended. Not a single person got up and didn't stay for the 132 final, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. It shouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, I've been in thousands of duels where like the marquee thing happens, and no matter what, people will leave, even if there's a good match after it. So I thought that was a credit to the crowd as well. And I thought the crowd, which was obviously very, very pro Hawkeye, was really pro the other kids too. It was just a good overall atmosphere for high school wrestling. I feel like they really just truly appreciated the wrestling. It was really awesome. And you know who else they got really behind was Ryan Sokol, who had committed, decommitted, and they were still behind him. So I thought that was cool. So great who's number one. Love it every time. Thank a farmer.
Great show. I like I said on this show earlier, I never really spent much time in Iowa City, and I like the town more than I thought I would. But good food too. Me and Christian, we both went to this what?
Well, you didn't.
You don't think there was good food?
Oh, there's great food, but you didn't partake of the food. The food you promised America you would eat.
He's a coward.
Hey, how many things have you committed to that you just don't do? You just say, I'll do it, and you just don't do it.
I committed to a keto diet. Mm-hmm. All right, pal?
Really convenient.
And I'm
really convenient.
You know what's convenient? I feel great.
One slice would have killed you.
One slice. I mean, even a couple bites would have been fine. Keto. Hold on. Now, Bracky, listen to this. Our good friend Colby Paxton, he was a keto guy for a while there.
Yeah, I think still kind of is.
Still kind of.
Yeah.
He dabbles in keto.
Yep.
You can have, it's not that you can't have any carbs. You can have carbs in keto. You have to limit them. No, absolutely. Absolutely. He is an expert. So.
No, I know, but I don't think you can have it at the beginning. I think you have to, in the beginning, you have to like purge.
You can have them in the middle.
Listen, you've been on this for a couple weeks. You could have had a slice of Casey. The bottom line is you could have had a slice of Casey's pizza, and you didn't. And you told America you were going to, and you didn't.
I'll have a slice of Casey's pizza at one point in my life. I will have a slice of Casey's pizza.
The promise to the people was who's number one. That was the time and the place that was discussed and agreed upon, and you didn't make the walk. Period.
Well, I feel better for it.
Well, on a serious note, we're glad that you're feeling healthy and strong. You have a better glow about you. I'll be honest.
Am I glowing?
Your skin looks better.
Thanks for the shout out of my skin. No, it's like I didn't lose really any weight, a couple pounds, I guess. But I feel better, more energy. Yeah, I used to eat a meal and just be like immediately like, damn dog, I need a nap. And now I'm good. I feel good.
Speaking of diet choices, the Flow Grappling guys are just chugging milk without ceasing.
Why are they chugging milk?
Well, they're trying to get bigger. Ryan Smith, I don't know, you never met Ryan. He's drinking a gallon of milk a day. He's put on like 9 pounds in a week. Just drinking milk. And Chase is on board. He's doing it too. I'm worried about his digestive system. But they're drinking all kinds of milk. You're on keto, and here's Nomad, Steve, and Kyle, and I just eating like just red-blooded American men, day in and day out.
Yeah, no gimmick diets here.
No gimmicks. I don't know, Becky. Your diet may be a gimmick. You broke out a can of Coke. I saw a Rice Krispie treat. What else was it this morning?
I don't know. What are those?
Gardettos?
Yeah.
Gardettos. That was Kyle's breakfast. He looks great. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. He's just fine. All right, so it's 8:22 in Austin, Texas. I've been wanting to do this thing where we kind of like count a countdown to the season, but we wanted to wait till rankings came out. Rankings are out now, so I want to start doing like a countdown of like the top 20 teams. Kind of do like a little team by team preview, starting with 20, working our way down to 1. I thought it'd be fun way for one. It'd be good for you guys because kind of get the lay of the land. All right, here's the teams, here's their contenders, here's what could be happening with these guys. But also, I think it's gonna be really helpful for us to like really kind of go hyper focus on these teams. These are gonna be the contenders likely for top 20 and top 10, and maybe even some of them will make big jumps. So I want to talk about these teams, starting with number 20 and working our way down.
It also is the first day of official practice today.
Oh,
baby.
And that's exactly why I am starting it right now. Which that's the timing. I figured it wouldn't make sense if they.
That was in no way coincidental. It was
just
thought out.
This bit would make literally no sense if they weren't practicing. It would be completely pointless. But now that they're practicing, I think we can discuss this. Also, did we talk about how stupid it is they get like 2 weeks of practice before the season starts?
It's preseason.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid though. But all that stuff's like quote unquote optional. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Number 20, and these are in the Flow rankings. And I don't even understand how the rank. I'll have to check with Andrew Spencer Spay to make sure these rankings are right because I don't understand the 1918. It seems like it might be wrong, but that's fine.
Well, Oklahoma and someone else are tied at 19, which may be where your confusion lies. Oklahoma and North Carolina. Yep, that's a typo. Oklahoma should be number 20 because those are two different numbers.
That's okay.
They both say 19, so we're going to fix that.
That's not my issue, though. My issue is I don't think UNC should be behind Pitt, but they are. It's fine. Let's go to number 20, the Oklahoma Sooners, coached by one Lou Rosselli. Now, so what I want to talk about, give a rundown of their lineup, I'm looking to you guys to chime in on maybe some potential breakout dudes or some roster battles or whatever. I don't know how many we're going to really see. I put in some potentials for Oklahoma. So I'll give their lineup briefly, and then we'll talk about it. What do you think? 125, Christian Moody. 33, Anthony Madrigal. 141, Dom Demas. 149, Zachary Zemer. 157 and 65, man by the Thomas brothers, Justin and Jeremy. Our man Anthony Mantanona at 174, Electric Factory. 184, Darian Roberts. 197, Jake Woodley. 285, Josiah Jones. Not Jake Boyd, but it would seem like probably Jake Boyd because it's been Jake Boyd. But Willie would probably know more about Josiah Jones than I would. Willie, thoughts on the Sooners this year? Thoughts on Josiah Jones starting over Jake Boyd? This is according to WrestleStat. They have their projected starters in there.
Well, both guys were really good in high school. I think Boyd was probably higher ranked, but Josiah Jones came on later in his high school career. But I haven't seen him in a bit. It wouldn't surprise me if Josiah Jones won that spot. I thought Jake Boyd would be a little bit more impactful, but I mean he's still relatively young. What is he, a sophomore?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Jones won that spot, but I haven't seen him in a while.
Okay.
You know, it's a lineup full of guys that were ranked highly in high school. Moody has his shots. He was top 10-ish guy. Madrigal at one point was top 3-ish. Demas, of course. The only one, Zach Zemer, I don't know. It seems like a kind of hole at 49.
Yeah. And what, as far as 25 goes, is Tommy Hoskins a factor there or not yet?
I think he could be. Again, I'm not sure exactly where he's at, but you know, Christian Moody has had his moments on the big stage, right? He was knocking on the door for a while of beating ranked guys and highly ranked guys. I mean, heck, as a sophomore, he had somebody dead to rights at
Lezak.
Lezak, was it? Yeah. So I don't know.
Lezak had him dead to rights, and then Lezak ran out of gas big time, and but Lezak persevered and won. So as far as this team goes, I like to talk about how many All-American contenders do you see? To me, I don't see much beyond Demas that's going to be a big threat for the podium. Obviously, we could always say Anthony Mantanona, right? Just in terms of talent, should be on the podium, but just his consistency, it's tough to say, yeah, you feel confident in it. Certainly if he went nuts and did it wouldn't surprise me. I think Woodley at 197 is in the mix, although 197, though it's not amazing, it has a lot of guys. So he'll have to improve to get in there, but I think he definitely could. He's been in the mix with a lot of these guys before. Yeah, go ahead.
Moody just 13 and 11 last year.
Not great.
No, I mean that was after a year where he won 23 matches.
Yeah.
So little dip there.
Sergio dip. Okay. So for the Sooners, big moments on their schedule. They're going to Journeyman, Cliff Keen, Las Vegas, and Midlands. Goodness gracious. In addition to their Big 12 slate, that's really the extent of their difficult duels other than, well, no, UNI's in the Big 12. So they're all their tough duels are Big 12. And they're doing Oklahoma State twice. I don't know why they're doing that.
I hate that so much.
Why? Well, you got to wrestle them twice. First of all, you're going to see them in conference.
Yep.
Second of all, why would Oklahoma agree to that? Once is bad enough. You got to do it twice. Although that will mean, for us, we get to see like Demas G twice. I'm cool with that.
They used to do it every year, right?
Yeah, it's been like that, and then they stopped doing it because I thought they realized it was silly. But now they're doing it. It's fine. They can do it as they please. Okay.
The makeup of this team is interesting because, Roselli made it clear that he wanted to get a lot of kids from Ohio, which they have Demas, and then Hoskins, who They have Hoskins listed at 25 on the roster, and then I'm sorry, I thought you had him at 133 there. But yeah, it's 3 California boys, 2 Ohio boys, and then depending upon Jones, as many as 4 PA boys.
Okay.
And then, like you were saying, so they have 22.5 points in our ranking, which 20 of that comes from Demas. Moody's 19 and 125. Justin Thomas is 13 and 157. Mathan is 25th and 174, so that's probably no points. And Woodley is 17 and 197. So they're going to have to get beyond that, 20-point range. One of those guys is going to have to make a big jump.
Yeah, and I think their fate is around the 20th spot, right? And that's if Demas doesn't win, I don't think they're top 20. So they're going to need that. I just don't see a lot moving. I mean, some of these other teams I can see really, really strong performances from multiple guys right there. I don't think there's signals right now from many of these guys that they're ready to ascend to the next. Normally there's a sign, okay, this guy's ready to break out. I haven't really seen that with many of the Sooners. So I think around 20 is probably their fate. Any thoughts there, Bracky?
No, I totally agree with you guys. I feel like 149 could be Jacob Butler.
Okay.
But he also didn't wrestle a match last year, so.
Well, he would have to do that this year to start.
But Zemer wrestled one match too last year, so.
So he's got that mat time advantage. Yeah. And ultimately that could be what. Yeah, I don't know. That was I looked at 149. I wasn't quite sure who it was going to be either.
I think also, when you look at when a new coach comes in, right, kind of you never know what to think early on because it's not their guys. Well, this whole lineup looks like guys that Roselli has recruited. So, full roster's his now, and now it's the kind of the make or break time to start. You've got your full guys in, so if we're going to see improvement and making those jumps, like we were saying, for those guys that are ranked, for those guys to jump up and kind of give them more than that 20 points, now's the time to do it.
Is it year 3 for Roselli? Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Remember when we were trying to figure out who was getting this job, and then we found out it was Lou, and then Willie texted him to talk to him, and instead of saying, "Hey Lou," he said, "Hey you," and he sent the text.
Yeah.
That was an all-time. That was an all-time moment.
Hey you.
Did he hit you back?
I don't think so.
Can't believe it.
You freaking offended Lou Roselli.
I don't remember. Honestly.
Hey you. Okay, that's the Sooners. Boomer. Now, number 19, team I'm pretty high on coming in this year, North Carolina Tar Heels, led by Coleman Scott, Tony Ramos and company. Now, this team, I like this team. I'll give you their lineup.
This is year 4, by the way, of Lou.
Oh, wow. So he's done 3. Man, that went quick.
Yep.
Seems like just 3 years ago, Nomad wrote 4 to 5 different articles on this coach named head coach at Oklahoma. Or was that Pitt?
That was Pitt. Yeah.
Pitt. We've got 5 or 6 in draft moded.
Let me see if they're still in there.
Ready to go. If they are, it's so funny. Anywho, let's get to the Tar Heels. Let's get to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. 125, Joey Melendez. 133, Jamie Hernandez. 41, Zach Sherman. 49, Austin O'Connor. 57, Mason Phillips. Top 5. 65, Kennedy Monday or Josh McClure. 74, Devin Kane. 84, Clay Loud or Chasen Blair. 97, Brandon Whitman. Heavyweight, Andrew Gunning or Keaton Kluver. Now, big tournaments for these guys. Just Midlands is the big one they're going to. As far as dual schedule, obviously they'll have the ACC slate, which contains Virginia Tech, NC State, UVA, Pitt, Duke, etc. But they're out of conference schedule. Michigan, Princeton, Arizona State, and Cornell. Very salty. So these guys are going to be tested. They're going to have a really tough schedule. And I really like the talent on this team. I know Willie really likes Mason Phillips a lot.
Man,
I
that
think a lot
Arizona State duel really like sets up pretty interestingly because they're both talented yet inexperienced down low. Both of their middles are really tough. So that should be a fun one.
Did
But
UNC beat them last year? Arizona State had a weird loss, I thought, last year. That was like, don't worry about it.
I feel like
We don't have to go to a trip down memory lane.
no, didn't they? They lost to like Virginia at Virginia duels, is what?
Oh, wow.
Right? Didn't they?
Let's not look it up. Let's talk about UNC a little bit. Okay, so for me, I really think Jamie Hernandez is going to have a nice year. With 33 cleared out, somewhat, I think he's a guy that can be a top 12-ish guy with a shot to make the podium. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Joey Melendez coming into this year.
I like him. I mean, he had a decent Midlands. I like their first two, and I think and Sherman's sneaky at 41. Tony Ramos text message. Yes, we beat Arizona State last year. Melendez, I think Melendez and Hernandez are maybe the keys to how far this team goes, at least in a dual meet perspective, and perhaps up a notch or two in the tournament. I think they get them off to a good start in most dual meets, and I think Sherman only had, I think, 4 losses last year. He beat some pretty good guys, including Joey Silva. So it's a good front three, and then you get to Austin O'Connor, who's a title contender, and Mason Phillips, who I think is going to be really solid. And depending upon Kenny Monday, I mean, their first group is like there's no real outs there.
Yeah, 25 through 65 65. I think they're really, really good. I mean, Devin Kane was round of 12 last year. He was like something around the 40th seed, but he still made the round of 12.
Might have been the low seed. One thing I'm curious about is they clearly have depth, right? Because I'm kind of looking through and I'm wondering how many of these are going to be real roster battles, right? Could Heilman push Melendez, right? Could Gabe Tagg push Hernandez, right? Could Headley push Sherman? I mean, Headley's a senior, right? Which way are they going to go with Austin O'Connor and Mason Phillips? 65. Could there be, right? You had McClure or Kennedy there. 84, you had Blair or Lout. So that's, Kansas, California. So I'm kind of curious to see what I'm going by the Oklahoma thing. Made me think about the states of all these guys and the makeups of the teams. And obviously North Carolina draws a lot of guys from out of state. But clearly they have depth, which is when you're trying to grow a program, that I feel like is kind of the first sign that things are going all right. That, hey, if somebody gets injured or, somebody starts falling off, we got a good guy coming in right behind him.
Gabe Tagg's a true freshman, right? So it would not make a lot of sense, I think, to wrestle him. I don't.
Yeah, especially when they have really good other viable options there.
And also, who's even going to graduate this year from their team? They're going to be super young, right? Are they going to start it? How many seniors are they even going to start?
What year is Sherman?
O'Connor's Sherman's like going to be a sophomore or junior. He's pretty young.
Here are the seniors on the roster: AC Headley, Lance Sarmento, which I imagine he will not start, Jake Mario, who I imagine he will not start, and Elijah Kerr-Brown, who also likely will not start.
So they will.
So they could have potentially 0 seniors.
And then
depending on how Sherman Headley plays out.
Next year, then they could wrestle Tag. The other Tag's coming, right? Mm-hmm. Julian. So they're going to be quite salty. Very good team. I like the upside of their lightweights. Sherman, I think, is going to be solid. Sherman's biggest thing was consistency, right? He beat Mitch McKee, and then he got blitzkrieg by Mitch McKee, and he had some weird losses. So if he can just kind of reach that consistent level, I think he's going to have a really nice season.
I think they'll be
a good redshirt year.
I think they'll be a touch better than like the 19th best dual meet team, and I think they certainly have potential to be much higher than that in the tournament. Although that's depending on one or two guys getting it done.
Let's put it this way: if O'Connor wins, and Mason is top 5 as you predict, and Kennedy Monday is top 6 as I'll predict, that 3 right there puts them in the top 12-ish probably, right? And that's counting no points from Melendez, Hernandez, Sherman, Kane, Lout, Whitman, and Gunning, who are going to qualify and score points, right?
Yeah.
So
don't you think overall? I think overall the ACC is getting better.
Well, yeah. I mean, ACC.
Heck
It's been better. I mean, it's been, in my opinion, like one of the second or third toughest conferences for a while in terms of like, they've as good as NC State and Virginia Tech have been powers. UVA is always solid. Now the last 2 to 3 years with UNC coming around and now Pitt's coming, it's nasty. And Duke every single year is surprising us, right? With the guys they're getting on the podium and who they're getting utility out of. I mean, the ACC continues to be amazing.
So this first group here so far appears to be kind of the upside tier, right? Where Demas, right, number 1 for Oklahoma, O'Connor number 1 for North Carolina, and then kind of talking about they've got 4 other guys ranked, but the highest one's Devin Kane, 15. So all those guys are going to have to, as we're talking about, make a jump to kind of push them above this 19-20 range.
As similar as they may look on paper, to me, I see 2 completely different teams. I see a team that needs Dom Demas to win for them to be in the mix, and I see a team here with insane potential. That could be completely wrong, but I look at the talent here, and I look at what I've seen in them in redshirt years and wrestling freestyle, particularly Hernandez, and I think this is a team that could. I mean, they could be top 10. I really think UNC could be top 10. They may be crazy, but if you have a national champion, not a whole lot of other things have to go right for you to be in that top 10 conversation. If you look at how many points it usually takes to be in the top 10, I think it's doable. They'll have to wrestle to their ability, which is almost always true, but I think it's a really solid team.
And then just you mentioned the recruits coming in. Will Guida, Gavin Kane, Cade Lout, so couple younger brothers.
They're getting all the brothers.
Lachlan McNeil, and then aforementioned Julian Tagg.
They got every brother. They got every brother except Quincy Monday.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying about Lachlan, really?
He's been on a tear.
He'll be at Super 32 this weekend, and I imagine he'll play Siley. And he is Canadian, so get
Andy has a little.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
And he has a little brother.
There you
A
go,
little Canadian brother.
Gregor.
All right, Steve and Kyle, thoughts on the Tar Heels?
I think they're set up to be really good for the next few years. Coleman and Tony are obviously great recruiters, and they had a lot of nice dual wins last year. You know, they beat Arizona State, they beat Lehigh, they beat Virginia Tech. So they can keep building on that momentum. They're going to be a force in the ACC.
Conversely, I looked up Arizona State's duel. They lost to Lock Haven, Stanford, UNC, UVA, Oklahoma.
Excuse me.
And then, they got smashed by some good teams.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty tough duel scene for the Sun Devils. I think they'll be better this year in duels, but, man, that's kind of jarring considering how much talent they have on that team.
Let's see. What did you say? You said their schedule.
So their schedule for UNC?
Yeah.
So they got the Big Ten or ACC slate of all those good teams, and then Michigan, Princeton, Cornell, Arizona State out of conference.
Princeton will be a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're all going to be really competitive just because they're good down low. Could see that Sherman Silva rematch. Although, do we think Silva's going to go 33 this year with Micic out of the lineup, and Storr presumably a better fit at?
Storr's out of the lineup.
Storr's out too.
Storr's,
Oh yes,
yeah.
Storr's taking a
So he's kind of got his pick where he wants to go.
Where would you go? All right, let's be Joey Silva for a moment. What weight class would you go?
I would go the weight class where I don't have to cut a lot of weight and also wrestle Seth Gross.
That sounds like 141 to me.
like if I'm looking at the high level guys, you go okay, Dom Demas, Nickal. Okay, Joey has always been super defensive, kind of bulldog, right? And if I'm Joey Silva, I would much rather try to take on those guys at closer to full feed as opposed to going under Seth Gross or wrestling Austin DeSanto very hungry.
True. But here's one thing I will say, and it has nothing to do with Joey Silva and everything to do with bulldogs. I do not think we can start referring to tough people as bulldogs. Bulldogs are
I'm not gonna stand for the bulldog slander.
It's not slander. I love bulldogs. Great dog. If I were gonna get another dog, I would consider a bulldog. Bulldogs are fat, lazy.
Did you see?
Completely.
No.
They don't do jack.
Stop.
A bulldog
Stop.
would get
They're not
run.
even fat.
There are thousands of dogs, breeds
Nope.
of dogs that would decimate
Bulldogs aren't even
a
fat.
bulldog.
Stop. Listen. Auburn was playing Mississippi State a few weeks ago. Okay. Mississippi State has a live dog on the sidelines. Live bulldog, Bully.
Yeah, because
And
you know what? You can't have
he-
a Doberman pincher on the sideline. It'll attack someone. You can have a docile.
Listen.
No.
All right.
The Auburn player scores a touchdown, gets knocked out of bounds, runs into the dog, hit the dog pretty hard. Dog squared up on him, was ready to go. And also, Georgia's bulldog has tried to bite an Auburn player
Several
before.
times.
Yes. So don't give me that.
Bulldogs don't do jack. They're fat and lazy. All they want is
called-
food.
You know why they're
completely
called
calm.
bulldogs?
They're so much better dogs.
You know why they're called bulldogs?
Tell me.
Because they square up with bulls. That's
Heard it here first.
that's the history of that's why they're called bulldogs.
All right, that has been bred out of them. Maybe in the 1800s that is true. Now they're just like hamsters that just eat a lot. They just hang out. The lovely dogs, great personalities. I have never met a bulldog I didn't like. You want to know why? Because they're friendly, and all they want is a piece of salami. They have no interest in fighting anything. And
I've been
if
around
I'm Joey
bulldogs that were
Silva,
vicious.
if I'm Joey Silva, I'm furious right now because you can do better. There is a better, scarier dog out there. There's Rottweilers. There's plenty of dogs that are far more intimidating, far more dangerous. You never read about a bulldog attack. A bulldog has never maimed a child, right? It doesn't happen. There's plenty of dogs that are far more dangerous.
Are
than
you
a bulldog.
advocating for the maiming of children?
Yeah.
Why would that be what I'm advocating for? All I'm saying
You're
is
like bulldogs never maimed a child. What wimpy dogs?
that's right. That's right. I want a dog
So you
that's
want
out of
Nomad-
control and dangerous.
You want Nomad to say Joey Silva? He's a real pit bull.
Pitbull, Doberman Pinscher. Listen,
Pit
they
bulls
don't have
bite children.
Mike Vick didn't have a bunch of bulldogs fighting each other because they wouldn't do it. They would just lay there and look for bologna to eat. Okay? They're not going to fight. It's pit bulls.
They've done their
Rottweilers.
fighting.
Huh?
They've done their job.
know why
They've done their
Exactly,
fighting.
Exactly. They're living off their ancestors' legacy of being tough, and they're just laying around. They're a bunch of silver spoon,
That's not true.
fat dogs. They don't do
I don't know
anything
why
with
you're
You're
them.
so
trash,
focused
and
on
this take is
bulldogs.
trash.
I love bulldogs.
No,
Listen,
you don't.
This makes it sound like I'm
Hey.
No, you
anti-bulldog.
don't.
You're
Bulldogs
focused
are
on bulldogs
cowards.
eating
Bulldogs are
delicatessen
cowards.
Willie, can we
If
get
you- Listen, if you're a single woman and you're living in a dangerous place or whatever, are you gonna get a bulldog? What's a bulldog? A bulldog would never protect you. It would just sleep and lay there. You need a pit bull. You need a Rottweiler. There's so many more
get a
tougher
pit
dogs.
bull.
I'm sorry. They're not even big. They're just fat balls. They're not fast. They're not
wicked.
dangerous.
You
They
need
will
to come to
protect
my
you.
parents' house and meet their two bulldogs, and then you'll change your mind.
They
They
what
will
are they
attack
gonna-
your face.
They will not.
I'll tell you what.
They will
I'll tell you what a
too.
big
I will get on the
factor-
first thing smoking a
I need a-
Parkersburg and pet your bulldogs.
I need a 3-man mechanics to overrule this take, and then Bracky can be the jury of appeal and also shut it
You
down
can-
after CP throws the brick.
Listen, there's
Bulldogs-
data. There is data. I'm sure to confirm it. And you know what? By the next show, I will bring the data that shows bulldogs are fat, docile hamsters. That's all they are, and I love them. And
Wow.
that's what's lost in all of this.
Cruz Jacob checking in on Facebook. Bulldog owner. They definitely are fast and will protect you.
Fast.
Suck it.
Faster than a no. Protect. No. I say no. I say no.
I'm
They will
going to
not
tell you
protect
a
you as
big
well.
factor. A big factor in all this are balls. If you had your bulldog, fixed, changes up the dynamic of all. I think that you've been around mostly fixed Bulldogs because Bulldogs with a full set.
My parents'
Entirely
Bulldogs
vicious.
got a full set. You
Okay.
come
See?
meet 'em.
I'm happy to meet him.
Yep.
I'm happy to meet him.
They're gonna bite your arm off.
Though they won't. Yeah,
Yes, they will.
only if it's covered in hamburger grease. Maybe then. Fat dogs. Listen, all I'm saying.
The strangest.
All I'm saying is.
He is trash right now.
This is
It's a trash take.
completely.
Joey Silva's a lot more dangerous
I
than a
don't even
bulldog.
know.
Listen, all right,
I don't know why you're getting so worked up about this.
because I think it's funny. Two, I'm clearly
Holy Lord.
two. Would you all agree? You all would have to agree with this. That if you're going to choose a dog that instills fear and is dangerous and aggressive, the bulldog is clearly not the best choice, but it somehow has become the go-to one because it sounds like a really tough dog, but we have to acknowledge it is not the toughest dog, and it does not typify an aggressive athlete.
Well, you know
right?
what? Producer Caleb Blakeman just sent me the America's Most Dangerous Dog Breeds, and they are top 5.
Okay,
There you
not,
go.
not number one. Not number
Okay, but you said they don't instill any fear or toughness or anything.
one. Okay. Anyways,
These are fatal attacks from 2005 to 2017. He has 15 bodies.
on what, mice?
See?
No.
He has more bodies than the Chicago Mothman.
The Popelick monster.
Yeah. Okay. I just needed to get those takes off. I'm happy
What
to.
in the Sam hell?
I'll do some more research on. No, Nomad, you were saying about Joey Silva. You think he's gonna go 41?
Next top, Pittsburgh.
I'm not done with UNC yet. Just because I went on a 45-minute rant about Bulldogs doesn't mean I'm
We
ready.
weren't even talking about UNC at that point. We were talking about Michigan.
Oh yeah, good point. My favorite UNC wrestler, Joey Silva. All right. So that's UNC. I think they're going to be. I think they have a shot at top 10. I think they have a lot of potential. Any parting thoughts on the Tar Heels of North Carolina, Willie or Stephen Kyle?
Go Dogs.
Yes. Go Dogs.
No, I just think they're young and very intriguing.
Yes.
How these guys are gonna. I mean, Melendez, Hernandez, O'Connor, Phillips, Monday, Kane. It's a good core.
Good core. All right, number 18, led by Coach Keith Gavin, the nastiest arm drag in American history, maybe, perhaps.
It's up there.
It's up there. It's a top 5 arm drag in the United States
It's
of
very
America.
high on the list.
It is up there. All right, so Coach Gavin and company will roll out.
Zero-time PA state champ.
0-time PA state champ. Now PA
One-time
can't even get a
NCAA
guy.
champion.
Now PA can't even get a guy at who's number 1. You got
Nope.
world teamers
How the mighty have
not winning
fallen.
states. I don't know. Is it shots fired at your state? Is it the beginning of the end?
No.
Okay. All right. Well said. 125.
That's the news.
125. Brandon Fenton or Colton Camacho, maybe. 133.
Or Ryan Sullivan, maybe.
Ryan's, yeah. I don't
Also
know.
a true freshman.
LJ Bentley. Who knows? 133. Mickey Philippi. 141. Cole Matthews. 149. Luke Kimmer. 157. Taylor Bramani. 65. Jake Wenzel. 74. Greg Harvey. 84. Nino Bonacorsi. 97. Stout. And 285. Demetrius Thomas. Like this team, quite a few ranked dudes. Mickey and Bonacorsi, definitely the top 2 wrestlers on this squad.
Taylor Bramani is still in college.
He is still taking classes.
Why
He's
is it that some guys
just feel older?
it seems like they've been there longer?
And for some reason, Stefan Micic, I just don't feel that way at all.
Right.
I don't feel like, wow, Micic has been around forever. And
yet he has.
And he definitely has. And he will have taken an 2 Olympic red shirts, a regular red shirt, and 4 varsity seasons. And yet I will still feel like he's a sophomore. I can't explain it.
Tanner Hall could legally run for senator.
Yes. He might. I don't know his political aspirations. But Taylor Bramani, very much enrolled, still a college student and NCAA athlete, and the most back-hookingest son of a gun this side of Dagestan.
And of note, if for some reason Brendan Fenton is in the starter 125, that would mean they have 9 PA guys, which makes sense. So cool to see Coach Gavin getting it done with the hometown boy, and a lot of them are Whippeal guys.
Yes.
It's good to be in the most, quite possibly the most talented region of the country. It's not a bad place to be.
I do think it helps. I've been doing some research on that. Not Bulldog research, but demographic
Clearly,
research.
I'm not done your Bulldog research.
I've done enough. It's more observational. It's been in the field. Not a big reader. So what's your read on this squad here, Willie?
I feel like they got a lot of 16th best guy in the country.
Yes.
That's no shade. I think that's what people will see when they see this lineup, and I think there's reason for optimism because I think Coach Gavin has raised all the boats in that room, and I think that the culture there is better than it's ever been before in a long time, and I think that being 16 isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially when I think Gavin will have those guys ready for March, and I think the difference between being 16 and being an AA is you steal a match or two, and I think they're much more in the range to position themselves to do that than they have been in a long time. So I don't see them incredibly high. In fact, I think UNC will be, just on paper right now,
yeah,
I'm very confident that UNC will be better, finish higher than Pitt at the national tournament, but trending in the right direction and with a lot of optimism.
Well, I think they do have, while I do agree they have guys that are on the edge of 17 there, as you mentioned. But I'll say Mickey Philippi, Nino Bonacorsi, Demetrius Thomas. I really think those 3 guys place this year.
Yeah, the Demetrius, you think? I just think I love Demetrius Thomas. I took him on my fantasy team last year too. Dude's good, but that heavyweight's monster.
No, I take it back. He'll be around a 12.
Heavyweight is also a weight where if Demetrius jumps even a little, gets some good wins early, rides a good seed, it is not out of the realm of possibility. I understand what you're saying, that it's freaking loaded. There's 4 junior world champs or junior world finalists here.
4?
And yeah, but no matter the thing about that is you're right, especially with his schedule. Especially with his schedule, that he could have something like a 2-loss season or something and get a high seed. The problem is the weight's so loaded that in the second round he's going to have somebody legit anyway that has 6 losses from the Big Ten.
Mason, Gable, Elam. Who's the 4th?
Jordan Wood.
Junior world finalist?
Yeah.
No.
Cadet.
Cadet.
They didn't make juniors?
Cadet world finalist. Pretty sure.
We'll double check. Willie.
Double
check. Yeah.
All right.
Looking ahead,
So now the weight sucks.
They have 2 guys coming in for 2020 right now, Antonio Petrocelli and Mick Burnett. Mick Burnett we'll see at Super League 2 this weekend. And they also have Brock McMillan. Brock McMillan, another Whippeal kid, Young Guns kid, that we'll see at Super 32 as well. So it's kind of small classes right now, but I'm sure they'll get a few more guys over the next couple of years here.
Okay. Stephen Kyle, you love Pitt so much.
Cadet
I figure
world finalist,
let's just go straight to you and just express your adoration.
I'm going to be nice. It's more with the football and basketball programs that I have beef. But I think the turnaround was quicker than people thought last year.
Yeah.
How about 13-3 in duels last year? With wins over Northern Iowa, Oklahoma. They beat NC State.
Yeah.
Only losses to Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, North Carolina. So, yeah, this is a quickly improving program, and one with the recruiting that they've done, getting guys like McMillan and Burnett is going to continue to go up and to the right.
Both those guys are high upside.
Yeah.
Folk style problems.
I love Burnett.
Yep. So, I mean, I think that's a great signal when you're winning a lot of dual meets. I think that's just a good sign that the overall level on your team is improving. I think that's what Coach Gavin's done more than anything. So that's something to be excited about in Pitt. Parting thoughts, Willie. I think this is a team with top 15, top 12-ish potential. They need to get those 3 guys on the podium, but they can do it. Willie?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's encouraging. I don't think these guys are going to be world beaters by any stretch. I don't think they're in position this year to bring home a team trophy. But I do, as being a PA boy, proud of PA wrestling. I'm really grateful for the job that Keith Gavin is doing, because now everybody's solid. They have a good guy going at every weight. In the past they would have guys in their lineup that was. You'd be like, man, he's just not getting any better. Man, why? I can't. This does not seem like a Pitt caliber starter. And we've all said ad nauseum that Pitt is in one of the greatest areas of wrestling, high school wrestling, so they should be better. And it's trending in the right direction. And so I think their dual meets will be highly entertaining, and I think they'll pick off a couple dual meet wins that you didn't see coming. And I don't think they're there yet, but all signs are pointing up.
Quick update. I just Googled, are Bulldogs dangerous? English Bulldogs are not dangerous, rarely show aggression to other dogs, and animals are kind to strangers. Veterinarians say the English Bulldog is not scary and is less aggressive than many other dog breeds. More to come. That's my preliminary research on Bulldogs.
In Pitt news / rumors, I think Kyle Snyder might be living in Pitt. Is Kyle Snyder living in Pitt right now? In Pittsburgh?
I don't think he's on campus.
That is a rumor I've heard.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Now, it's 9:02. I don't think we'll do Virginia Tech today. Want to do
10.
Virginia Tech Tuesday? What?
90210.
90210. Why don't we get to some questions from friends?
We can do that.
Ian at Jagger712. Are you guys carrying all the Big Ten matches this year? Not all, but it'll be like last year, many. And when we know how many we'll have, you will know. But right now we don't know because they send us a schedule and then we know what we have. But we will have a lot of Big Ten matches.
Essentially, every duel that's not on TV. I think last year was close to 80, which is pretty awesome.
That's
definitely. We'll have every single team in the Big Ten live multiple times.
Oh yeah, easily, yeah.
And we'll have Big Ten championships up to the finals, which will be awesome, and Midlands. So plenty of Big Ten flavor for you. Next question. What will I ask? Besides their current, I thought this was an interesting question. Besides their current school, what school can you see the following wrestlers having attended, i.e. best fit for personality or style? Zahid, let's start with, we'll just do it one by one, and we'll do whoever we could do. So Zahid Valencia goes to Arizona State. What's another place you could see his style, personality, etc. fitting? Also, we can't just say Penn State either, because it's kind of like the good answer for every guy, right? And I think they probably all...
Yeah. Zahid has said that they said that if they didn't go to Arizona State, they wouldn't have went to Nebraska. But I don't know if Nebraska really.
I don't actually believe that. I think it would have been like
Nebraska.
I could see him going to Oklahoma State and crushing.
I can't see Zahid anywhere else.
Wow, it's unseeable.
Well, if you hadn't restricted me from saying Penn State, I would have said Penn State.
For sure. Sorry to put those restrictions on.
This is a man who looked into the future, looked into his crystal ball, and saw a mandated child reproductive service in Kazakhstan, but could not imagine Zahid Valencia in any other singlet.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Spencer Lee. Can't say Penn State.
Well, we can't say Penn State because that would have been totally reasonable.
Yeah, all right, Penn State. It is Penn State. He almost went to Penn State. Penn State thought he was going to Penn State. The Lees thought he was going to Penn State.
Fit-wise. Yeah, I can't as much see him at Ohio or Oklahoma State in terms of like fit. I think
It's
Penn
tough to
State
see him in
is-
either of those
is-
schools. All right, we'll do one
I think it
more.
would have to be a Big Ten school with his like physicality.
Yeah.
Mark Hall.
I wanted to do Yanni. 'cause
Okay.
I think him at Oklahoma State would have been
Yep.
Oh
fascinating.
my gosh.
Yep.
The elbow stuff that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like not having.
Like, yes, also not having them. Get some dang elbows, Yanni.
For crying out loud, for the last time, Yanni, have elbows. Because no one can control him. Is
Mark
that why
Hall,
he's so
I could
good?
see-
You can't elbow control Yanni because he doesn't have elbows.
That might be it.
That's bullcrap. NCAA
Mark
violation.
Hall, I think I could see at Minnesota.
I could see him in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Mark is one I could actually see a few more places.
I could see him at Oklahoma State for sure. Yeah.
Honestly, I could kind of even see him at Ohio State.
We thought he was going to go there for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was kind of like sort of looking that way. I mean, maybe not, but it was kind of like there was a thought he would go there.
Dayton's also a hard one as far as seeing anywhere else.
I can't, yeah.
It's Oklahoma boys, dad went there. Like, yeah.
Brad Cravens wanted to know how much weight you lost since being on keto, Willie.
Like 6 pounds.
That's really
5 pounds,
good.
6 pounds.
6 pounds.
Yeah, I don't really care about the weight though.
No, that's just like a
I mean-
signal that things are going well.
Yeah.
It is good. It is good for you though. The less you're carrying around, it is a strain on all your systems if you have extra weight. So it is good.
It's the knees.
Well, I was more thinking the heart.
Well, yeah, the heart too, but I'm saying carrying around
My
weight's
heart's-
bad for your knees.
Yeah.
Heart, don't forget something like that.
No, it don't. Thank you. Great, Tim McGraw-Poole. All right. There are guys who we know are destined for greatness, a la Spencer and Dayton. And then there are guys who seem to come out of nowhere, a la Kassar. Who are some of the best guys to come out of nowhere? From Actual Cannibal 1. I don't know if we should be reading an Actual Cannibals. Because it'd be one thing if it said, maybe a cannibal, probably a cannibal. He is very definitive that he eats other humans. And I just read his question. So I should not have done that. I won't read any cannibals questions going forward. But at the same time, it's a pretty good question. And I'd love to know the best guys to come out of nowhere.
Is it only those kind of guys? I mean, is it only those two kinds? There's not many guys that kind of flounder around and then they're okay and then they pop their head into a final, right? It's like, well, I guess there are those kind of guys, like a Hudashelt.
Well,
I
Machiavello
don't think-
is definitely...
So
Machiavelli may be more random than...
Hudashell was absolutely the first one that came to mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
that's
Last year,
not-
Drew Foster, he didn't win a state title,
Yeah, but
right?
Drew Foster and Drake Hudashelt are not the same people.
I agree.
That's correct. Where are you going with that?
No
though?
disagreement there.
What? You can't say that Drake Hudashelt came out of nowhere. This is a guy that was top 50 on the big board. This is a guy that had
was?
multiple. Yeah. This is a guy that was like, he was an AA before he made a final.
Oh, well, that's one thing. The one thing that when they have...
Well, I mean, Drew Foster was in the AA before he made a final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we're talking about like,
I think Drew Foster, Machiavelli would never aid.
then we're talking about like Derek Moore
No.
type
Listen,
guys. Never AA'd.
We definitely. I'm not giving any pushback that Machiavelli was out of nowhere. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Hudashelt was not out of nowhere. I think there's more than two. There's more than two types. There's one that comes out of nowhere. There's one that was an elite recruit in high school, and there's one that was like a middle ground, kind of paid his dues and eventually made a final, right?
Yeah, I too thought that what's his name was kind of obscure. Hudashelt. I thought he did not have a great high school career, or not. You know, he wasn't revered coming out. If he was top 50 on the big board, that is.
No, he did. Well, you got to. I mean, in my opinion, there's a Hudashelt that was mid, I mean, I guess
What about Steve Bozak?
if you look back, you could even put a Bozak.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably in that middle bucket even put a Bryce Meredith.
Yeah.
About
He
Kyle
was
Cannell?
like 92.
Yeah.
Kyle Cannell's the far bucket. Kyle Cannell's the out of nowhere bucket.
Yeah, I was just looking at champs, but that's a good one.
Ronnie Perry is the far bucket.
Mm-hmm.
The kid from Old Dominion that made a final that year, far bucket.
Ryan Williams.
Ryan Williams.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good discussion. I think those are the guys that came to mind for me.
Willie, where was Matt Brown
Yeah, I was going to say.
on the approximate?
Matt Brown.
He graduated high
Matt
school
Brown-
before big boards existed.
Yeah, he graduated high school before I did.
Well, that makes it hard.
I don't know. He was off my radar, to be honest. I mean, he was like, I don't know, maybe 90th.
How about here's one question. He certainly wasn't top bucket. Is he mid bucket? Jesse Delgado.
No, he
Because he did some stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't know that he was NCAA recruit.
He did a
NCAA
thing, and
champ
then he was
recruit.
like 7th in California the next year or something. Didn't something
Yeah.
like that happen with Jesse?
Yeah, and then I think he won. Not that this is the biggest precursor, the biggest indicator, but then his freshman year he won
NCO.
a decent NCO bracket. And I think him and Nashon were sort of in the same plane in that you wondered if they were going to be big enough. I didn't know if Nashon was going to be big enough.
I know.
He is now.
So funny.
All right, last one for me. I'm just going back. Where was Kendrick coming out?
Maple.
Because I don't remember,
I don't really remember either.
which is dumb
But
because he was.
I think he was pretty
he
good.
he had to
he was
have been
pretty legit.
But he had to have been not super, super, super high because he was basically the same age as me. And I followed everyone back then because I was in it. Like J.O., I knew J.O.'s whole ledger up and down because he was the same grade as me.
He was
And
also.
I was like, this is the best guy.
He was also from Kansas. I don't know how many national tournaments he did, but he certainly wasn't tested in Kansas. He could be one of those guys. You see that every now and again. But yeah, to your point, I don't think there was much, but I think he was like a ranked dude. I think he did something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was up there. I don't remember specifically though.
Okay. I think we've done this one, and maybe we've talked about it before, but I want to do it again, and I may change my mind on this, and I would like to have both takes on the record. Therefore, I
don't
would
wanna-
pick both. Ed Ruth versus Bo Nickal in their primes. Who wins? I don't know what I said last time. It's really none of your business. But I'll say right now that I think it would be Ed Ruth.
I remember thinking at times when Ed Ruth was wrestling that he was the greatest folk style wrestler of all time,
Okay.
which is not an accurate take. But
But
that speaks to how good I think of Ed Ruth. But man, Bo Nickal beat the ever living crap out of people for 4 years.
he did, but not Ed Ruth. No one Ed Ruth caliber. Although he did beat Gabe Dean, who beat Ed Ruth. But I think I don't look at it like that. I just think of the matchup. I think Bo would have a hard time taking him down. I think Ed would be able to get to his legs and take him down. I doubt either rides each other, but if one could ride, I would think it would be Ed. So I'll take Ed.
Ed was good on top.
He was really good
man.
on top. And also every position in wrestling.
Is there any shot they could fight each other?
Maybe one day. Except no,
No.
because Ed
Except
Ruth's fighting
Ed's
Darian
wrestling-
Caldwell right now.
12 kilograms.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He got
Darian
skinny.
Caldwell's fighting like 125.
Yeah, everyone's so much smaller than they ever were.
Probably because it's 47-hour weigh-ins.
Yeah, 47-hour weigh-ins. You weigh in Tuesday, wrestle Saturday night.
That helps.
Okay. Everyone else, please join in. Nomad and I have spoken. The table says Ed.
I say Ed Ruth too. I just think he would.
I'd say Ed too, but I feel like guilty about it because
You don't
I'm
feel
with
great.
there's not much data there that says Bo Nickal's going to lose to like anyone, but
Right.
Right.
I don't know. And I think that sometimes things get lost between high school and college and senior. It's like you look back at Super 32 brackets and you're like, oh, that's a good final, I guess. I don't know. I don't really remember that guy. But if you do remember back then, that kid was like amazing. You don't remember him because he didn't have great college success. I think over time, Ed Ruth will probably get lost in the pantheon because he didn't have great senior level success. But when he was in college, I thought he was the most fascinating, dominant, unbelievable college wrestler I've ever seen. I mean, right up there with the best of them.
Yeah, he was stupendous.
I don't know how much of this was Kyle Dake effect, but like I thought Ed was better than David at the time, even though David's numbers were, Ed's numbers were phenomenal, but freaking David Taylor almost scored a perfect score at the NCAA tournament, which is pin your way through. I don't know. They've had some. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think also too, when you think about the history of Ed Ruth, I don't think he'll probably ever get enough credit for freshman year beating Mac Lunas, who at the time was like,
Number
"Are
one.
you freaking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? This freshman just beat Mac Lunas."
Bad.
So, yeah,
Bad. His breakout was the scuffle where he beat Lunas in the semis and Heinrich in the finals.
Ironic that it was at the scuffle.
Why?
Because Gabe Dean beat him at the scuffle.
Oh, got it. Yes. Tanner Lefevre.
and that might have been the last year that the scuffle was where Super 32 is.
Greensboro. I think
Oh, yeah, possibly.
you are right, because the sophomore year, David Taylor. I just remember he did the magic. He tricked the ref into thinking he had given up the wrist, and he got another tilt. And I remember distinctly that was at Chattanooga for some reason. Tanner Lefevre, how many current Hawkeyes did Nomad stand next to at who's number one? Can you confirm how much DeSanto Teasdale weigh as of last weekend, and how Kim Dog looks up at 74?
I did not stand next to Teasdale or DeSanto. Did not see them at all. I saw Chemdog from 20 feet away. I stood next to Spencer Lee. He is still a 125-pounder.
Yes.
I stood next to Alex Marinelli. He is still a 165-pound bull. I stood next to Sam Stoll. He is still enormous. And I stood next to Anthony Cassiope, who is slightly less enormous.
He's standing. All right.
Those were the ones I stood next to.
I think you stood next to more people who's number one, but that's fine.
He said current Hawkeyes.
When you said Sam Stoll.
He's a current Hawkeye Wrestling Club.
Okay. Kim Dog looks huge. He is going to be a great sized 174.
A Great Dane.
He could be a Great Dane, which is probably more dangerous than
Big dog.
He looked good. And you know what else, too? He looked happy. I don't know. To me, that sort of resonates. That he's not struggling through anything. There was some murmurs that he still might be lingering injury or something. Hearsay, message board chatter and stuff. I saw him. He seemed happy as a lark. Now, Christian might have he might look up happiest birds and tell me that like a lark isn't one of the happiest.
I don't have.
Larks are known to be surly.
I couldn't tell you the first thing about a lark. I couldn't pick it out of a lineup.
Well, to me,
no, I have no experience. I'm only going to speak on things I have experience with, a la Bulldogs.
Yeah, so to me, looked happy as a lark, or maybe insert your favorite songbird here. But I think that's big. He's happy. He's big. He's healthy.
For example, if you said Blue Jay, I would have taken offense. Because Blue Jays are dangerous. They will dive bomb your head. They're very territorial birds. But no, lark, no issues there.
Perhaps a Rockin' Robin.
I don't know what they're going to do with DeSanto, Teasdale. I didn't think DeSanto looked much bigger. I feel like that's a guy that probably stays within his fighting weight at all times because he probably burns in the range of 1,500 calories a day at minimum because he just doesn't stop.
The thing, was it the Hawkeyes or was it I1BTN put out yesterday, Bracky?
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I1BTN, they strapped a camera to DeSanto's chest and they went on a run. And after the coaching staff dismissed him from the room to start the run, he's just shoving everyone out of his way.
Yeah.
and it's awesome.
It's vintage DeSanto. So you got him, Teasdale. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they should 33 Teasdale, 41 DeSanto.
I bet they will do whatever's best for the Hawkeyes, which I don't know the answer to right now.
Okay, wow.
I have stood on the Teasdale to 41. I could be extremely wrong.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. I don't think he's that big. Okay. This is the last question. From Brad Bowles. Should wrestlers that did not medal at Worlds in 19 but qualify their weight in March also get a bye to the semis at Olympic trials?
No.
Ooh.
There's a big difference between making a medal match and reaching the finals at Pan Am's.
That is correct.
That's
big
true.
difference
Okay.
there, guys.
Yeah. I was thinking of if they go to the last chance things, but they won't have done that at that point. But
okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter. But here's a scenario. Pat Downey goes to Pan Am's, makes the finals, sits in semis. That's what you guys want to happen?
well, I want the weight qualified, so yeah, I don't care if someone sits a semis a round or two. Who cares?
All right. Sorry to go back and dunk on this. Kyle Rochelle goes to Pan Am's. Kyle Rochelle goes to Pan Am's. You want Kyle Rochelle sitting in semis?
I do. I want Kyle
So do I.
Rochelle in the semis.
I actually do too, kind of.
There you go. All right.
Speaking of which, the Greco women's freestyle have put out their procedures to choose who is going to the Pan Am Olympic qualifier. Men's freestyle has not yet.
Is theirs what you would expect it to be? Like world teamers?
I haven't looked at the women's. They're basically all the same. It's world 2019 world team member gets first choice, which kind of goes in line with how they normally do things like that.
Bill Zadek's like, how can I write David Taylor onto this team real quick? Okay.
Or
So
a Jaden or a, yeah.
all right. Parting thoughts, things to discuss before we go. I'm having some crazy thoughts about FRL. Crazy plans. I haven't even talked to you guys about them yet.
Well, this is what we do. We often talk about plans while we're on the
I
show,
know.
so let's make it happen.
All right, I'll do it. Should I just put it out there?
Just put it out there.
Put it out there.
I kind of want to do it. I want there to be. I don't want to say I want to do FRL 5 days a week. I want there to be FRL 5 days a week.
We got a lot of
this
work
is
to
a-
do to make that happen.
No,
is
we
a-
don't.
Yes,
no,
we
that
do.
This
no,
is
we
a
don't.
big curveball. This
This
is a big curveball.
It's a big curveball, but
Even to me, especially internally, what we have talked about the last 2 weeks. You can't stop me from talking too much. I'll talk every day. I'll do it. I'll be like 6 hour show every
Listen.
day, 5 days a week.
we've got a deep.
Hey, coward.
We have a deep bullpen here. Is my point. I think people have long said they wish this show was more often. I think it could be. We could not do it 5 days a week collectively, but we've got Spay and Bray and other capable people I think could spell
Ray.
us. Ray. Do it. Jay.
Jay,
DJ. We have all these guys. Their names all rhyme.
Trey,
Trey. They could do FRL. LJ.
LJ.
Yeah, thank you, Caleb Blakeman. So all these people, I think it would be awesome if we had them on FRL. So I think we could do it.
if we go on FRL 5 days a week, we're gonna have Caleb on.
We're gonna have Caleb.
Caleb and Travis Peter and
Who knows? We have
Colby will be on at some point.
maybe Bader, maybe Mike. Who knows? But I think it can be done. I think it's possible. I think the people want it. I think it'd be good for all parties involved. So that's all I'll say. I'm thinking about doing that. Obviously, I haven't talked to it about anyone. It's just been something in my brain for a couple days, and now I'm thinking about it.
Do
and
it.
Maybe we do it. Maybe we do it. Nomad's not on board, but who cares, right? It's fine. He's trying to deny you extra FRL people, so all complaints go to him.
I'm the one that has to get the dang show
No,
up.
it's not. No, you wouldn't have to. Spade knows how. Everyone has access to the CMS.
Okay.
It can happen. All right, Caleb Blakeman, we're ready to go. Thank you so much for tuning in to 414 episodes of FloWrestling Regular Live. That number could start growing very quickly if we go to 5 days a week. It could happen. Maybe we change up the times, change up the personnel a little bit, mix it up. Mix and match. Some Willie, some not Willie.
Maybe we do FRL after dark.
FRL after dark.
I
version.
want to do a night version. Flow after dark.
FRL after lunch. We could do it after or before. So many things. Just think about it. Possibilities are endless. There's so many hours in the day. Can't wait.
We could do it at every 8 a.m. in every time zone.
So eternal FRL because it's 8 o'clock
We're
somewhere.
huge in Singapore.
That is true. Untapped market. Thanks so much. We will be back next Tuesday, maybe Monday. Maybe this thing shifts into gear
Wednesday,
right away.
Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, and then we'll do it again starting Monday.
Hey,
I
think we should declare. We need a petition. Should we declare Bulldog as the FRL mascot?
Yes.
Yes.
3 gets 1.
Hey.
You're out of here.
No,
Super.
actually,
Bulldogs.
I vote yes. I love Bulldogs. I love Bulldogs. Would love them to be a mascot. They're a friendly fat thing that loves to eat meat. That's fine.
Oh, you ranted on them.
I love them.
No. They don't.
This
love
is going to be
you.
the first time the FRL outro
Hashtag.
ended. It ran out of music.
Hashtag Team Bulldog. See you Tuesday. Thank you. Watch Super 32, you morons.
Yeah, you better watch Super 32.
Come on. Later.